Welcome to Iqaluit Nunavut. Iqaluit Nunavut is a very beautiful place, as you can see, and we hope that everyone here who's from out of town feels welcomed, and I hope that you get to go home after with these beautiful memories of a warm place, even though it's cold. Should we invite Shelton?
Yes.
Is this a good time to invite Shelton? Shelton Nipisa from Iqaluit is a wonderful drum dancer, a young man who can drum dance almost like an elder. That's who I see when he dances. Yeah. He's brought our Inuit culture in a beautiful, beautiful light, and so we would like to welcome him. He will also talk and share about the drum. Ile. We'd like,
Shelton Nipisa Iqaluit.
and also he will be accompanied by Liana Wilson from Iqaluit, who will share her voice with Shelton.
Siping wa kukutasa Isungang wa pitatui To nungwami nagtalingwami ay 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 Siping aku kutasa Isungang pitatui To Akaro nungwami Nagtalingwami ay 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 Siping aku kutasa Isungang pitatui To Akaro nungwami Nagtalingwami ay 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 ay
Well, that was a lot of fun. Bigya karting nang matnawak papi. Tabunga kataw yulo alaw kapi. Daw tuk di chigar to kematil luta. Unikarar to kemat luta lu. Atarakugar. Harvar miutaw yunga. Kihani tamani linera kataw himalak tunga ukiuni pengahuni tuhayuna mutikulewina muglu tekani ilinati katimayi ni inwe kawimaya tokangi ubalu ni kawimaningit ni kigatu yuyunga amma ikivaw taw tublengu maslunga kagevu ku katimayi ni Please bear with me. Yeah, I should grab my Pigya kartit nanga mat na katawak para Bernice ukwerti chiyulo alaw ma pigya kartit nata. So before I begin, I would like to thank everyone, elders, guests, staff, performers, and everyone else for coming here. My name is Shelton Nipisa. I'm from Arve Nunavut, but I've been living here for the past 3 years as a full-time student where I'm in my 3rd and final year at the Interpreter Translator program. I also serve as Inuit Kawiimaya Tukangit or Inuit Kawiimaningit ni representative with the Student Council. I'm also the vice chairperson for the board of directors with Iqaluit. Before I get into this, I wanted to tell you some facts about my English name. The reason why I'm mentioning it is because of the history behind it and how I got the name. I'm the only one, sorry. I'm the only one named Shelton in my hometown. And how I got this name is my mom is also a survivor of residential school. And she had this classmate who was named Shelton Dragon. So that's how I got my English name Shelton from my mom's former classmate when she went to school in the West Coast area. I'll be sharing some knowledge about the history of traditional drum dancing and the anatomy of the drum. That was a lot of dancing. Traditionally, the skin would be made out of caribou hide, and the wood or the frame of the drum would be made out of driftwood. I'm going to be talking about the terms in my dialect, which is Palamute dialect or Alvet dialect. The skin in Inuktitut is called ihik or isik in other dialects. The rim is called Iqaluit. The handle is called the pablu. And the string is called Iqaluit. And the groove where you apply the string is called Iqaluit. So the skin, ihik, Iqaluit, the rim, string, Iqaluit. The groove where you apply the string is called Iqaluit or Nimervea in other dialects. And the handle is called pablu. And the drum beater is called katutik, or in other dialects, katuk. Traditionally, when Inuit would start drum dancing, it would start off with the oldest person inside the kagyak or the igloo, and there would be one person drum dancing until the song, their traditional songs end, and all the women would be singing. In Inuktitut, it's called Ingeoktut, a plural word for women singing, or if it was a single person singing, it would be called Ingeoktok. Nalunek higawalau rama unika na walau tunga kano piyak pelahlau mangata. And there are 3 types of dancing that I know with drum dancing. The first one is called the raven. You'd be hopping like a raven when you're drum dancing. The second one is the polar bear. It's either with their feet or their head. If you've seen a polar bear running away from wherever they were, it's like that. Their legs usually, their hind legs usually go like this when they're running away, or when they're running, their head would go like that. So with the leg. And then with the head is. And last but not least, my favorite one is the caribou. The reason why it's my favorite because where I come from, we're rich in wildlife, and there's tons of caribou back home. And if you ever love the tunnok, which is the fat, they they're moved their behind when they have lots of that. So I'm gonna be dancing like the caribou. I think this type of drum dancing with the caribou, it's either funny or if you see someone you like, you would either tease them with the competition or to let them know that you. Hi. So, yeah, those are the things that I've learned throughout my life ever since I just started drum dancing. I hope you like caribou. And I was taught how to drum dance when I was in grade 3 by both of my aunts, so I'm thankful for them for teaching me how to drum dance. Matna.
Thank you, Shelton.
Goeie Shelton.
Yeah, it's really nice that that our culture is very strong and vibrant. And it's people like Shelton and Liana who carry our culture forward. So, nakomik. There's a lot of people here and a lot of very special guests here today from all over. And I'm just curious, who is from the West here? Okay. So the Northwest. Let's say the Northwest. How about the Southwest? How about the Far East, Southeast? You could be in both. What about the Eastern Arctic? Woo! Who's from the prairies? Oh, wow.
Oh.
How about Ontario? Y a-t-il du monde de Québec? Anyone from Quebec? Ooh, ooh. Did I miss anything? Welcome, everyone.
Tunga sugitsi.
We would like to invite, actually, you know what we haven't even done? And usually I do it at the beginning, but a lot of times in our Inuit culture, we don't put ourselves first. We allow space for others to shine first. But I think it would be nice if you got to know who we are. My name is Sylvia Cloutier. I'm originally from Kuujjuaq, Nunavik. I also spent over 25 years here, almost 30 years here in Iqaluit, Nunavut. So sometimes I feel like I have 1 foot in Nunavik, 1 foot in Nunavut, and now I have an arm in Montreal, where I'm living right now so that my son can go to school. I am an artist. I'm a mother of 2 boys. All my life, I've always been known as my mother's daughter, Sheila's daughter. And when I moved here to Iqaluit about 30 years ago, people were wondering, who are you? So I had to say, I am Daisy Watt's granddaughter. Oh. And over time, as an artist, people started to know who I was. And now I come to Iqaluit, and I'm Mr.'s mom. Because my son is a popular rapper. So this is who I am. I also do cultural performances, and I love to create shows. But this is me in a nutshell.
Piga. Naomi Tario Vunga Tamane Kaluni Mutao Lungalo. Piromnico Yunga Tamane. I am Naomi Taddy and I grew up here in Iqaluit and I am from here, not born here, born in Montreal. Hey. And a lot like Sylvia, a lot of people knew me as Moses Atagoyuk's daughter because he was CBC host for 35 years. So, Tamane Kaluni Miutavunga, I work here locally, but 3 different jobs. And a mother to a daughter and a son, and a daughter of a well-known reporter that was with CBC for 35 years. Iqaluni perok tunga. Tunga sutitivagi, and welcome home.
Thank you. Naomi does a lot for her community. She's always there to help. She's somebody who works very hard to help others. So I'm really happy that I get to share the stage with you. People really appreciate you and respect you. So thank you for being here.
Kuyanamik. Manela amisu matakay kuyaw si mayut tunga sutti gumababo taima kikatani inuikun Association kuninga tungilinga Lazarus or Levi Barnabas kuyan kay nakone.
We will welcome Levi Barnabas, QA Vice President.
Did you want a mic or thing? Okay.
Unnusakkut tusaksayulla unnusakkut tungasugitti. Although I can speak Inuktitut frequently, I'm going to speak in English because we have all different dialects and different languages in the house today. Tungasugitti, welcome. First of all, thank you to the Office of Special Interlocutor for inviting me to speak today. To those that don't know me, my name is Levi Barnabas. I'm going to give you a little bit of history why I got that name. A lot of Inuit here used to have a disc number. And disc numbers were used to travel on medical. And a little bit of history, late, I think it was Michael, that was appointed by federal government then, stood up and said, I'm not a number, I got a name. So my actual name is Kulitelik Iqaluit, which is hard for pronunciation for federal government, I guess. That's why we got disc numbers. And then 1964, April 14, 1964, a Inuvialuit person by the name of Abe Ukpik was appointed to have a naming project. And he traveled all over the north, from west to east, by duck team, and the only documents that were provided at that time was from Reverend Peck, a Bible. And that's why we have lots of biblical names. And this is the reason why we are changing. We work towards to change our names to adopt our regional names back. So that can be done by any person who wishes to change their name back. I'm here at my capacity as Vice President for QIA, and I'd like to give a warm welcome to everyone here, whether it's your first time, for you, and have been here before. Welcome to Iqaluit. People often talk about when lives were like before. They are somebody that they know who went to residential school. And before, they were sent out for tuberculosis treatment. I remember my father being in Moose Factory for this reason. A common theme between the two, no matter what community they were from, is that people were never the same when they came back. I've seen it. I've seen my grandfather coming back from the Skokie ship, really different from the person that left at that time. When we were children, the way we remember our children are often skewered. As children, we are small people. So sometimes what seems to be a small hill is now seems like a huge mountain when we were kids, when we were children. To all of you this evening that have been affected by residential school, tuberculosis, have family that were apart from this unfortunate time in the Canadian history, and to those that are still searching for their loved ones, this is your gathering. The hell that we've seen as the children is not as big and intimidating anymore. We have each other. We have more supporters in the place that we ever had. It can only be better from here on. As we continue to work together to achieve reconciliation in our communities in a way that impactful to us, this is our chance. By coincidence, in 1999, while I was in MLA, newly formed Nunavut Territory, a few of us went to Quebec City. During this trip, we visited one of the churches, and we were looking at burial records. I remember opening a page, seeing my grandfather's name listed in those pages. My grandfather's name was Maki, and his name was written in those records. Maki was buried in an unmarked grave with TB patients, of those which probably had family members that were looking for them too. For years and years, my family and relatives searched and searched for any information on Maki. And I happened to open a page with his name on it. It was instantly filled with sense of relief and sadness. Relief that I found his name sorry for a minute, sadness, because he left and never went home. All these years, my family wondered where he was, and now we know. This is one example why I'm glad to see you all here today. We are on our path to reconciliation, and we are here in solidarity. We are forging our path to discovery. We are in much further than we are in 1999. I know a meaningful reconciliation won't happen right away, but I believe that the right steps forward, talking and listening to each other, safe environment, trusting that we are building the resources and supports needed for bringing peace to families that have been left with unanswered questions. Inuit have always been observant people and learn best from observing others, their parents, elders, community members. Let's continue to practice and keep learning from each other. Let's be respectful, conscious of each other's observations and realities. It will be a busy week ahead, and you will hear a lot of amazing work our counterparts are doing. And I wish you all the strength and possibility, because some of the considerations may be difficult. We are here in this together. Merci. Thank you.
Kolitalik. Nakormik. It's wonderful how everyone is really expressing themselves here together. This is a safe space for us all, and it's very encouraging because sometimes it feels like when we were growing up, a lot of things were not talked about, and maybe it was too painful or too confusing. But it's so nice we're opening up, right? It opens doors for our kids and our grandkids. Nakormik. I would like to ask you to please turn your phones off or put them on silent, just to respect those that are speaking. And also, everyone in the circle, you are welcome to go and have a seat at your table because soon we'll be serving the first course of our meal. Nakormik, thank you for joining us in the opening ceremony circle. While you are getting seated, we would like to invite Elder Daryl to share the spirit dish. Thank you, Elder Daryl.
Away bonjour and the way magana duk, nit magabo and the go. Good evening, brothers and sisters, relatives, friends, survivors. First of all, I want to thank the Independent Office of the Special Interlocutor, Kimberly Murray, for inviting me up here to share a little bit about some of our teachings from our area. And to explain some of our protocols, some of which are different, but in many aspects are very much the same. For example, the lighting of that fire. In our area too, we have the fire is very sacred to our people, and sharing of food and coming together. Let me start off first by saying that I ran into a couple of very important people on my way here. We flew from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, to Toronto, to Ottawa, then up here. And while we were at the airport in Montreal, I saw this young leader. And I noticed him because I saw him on TV a couple of weeks earlier. And I was really impressed by what he had to say here in the capital of Iqaluit. And Premier PJ Akiguk, I hope I got that right, but close to it. But they had a special historic signing here a couple of weeks ago on the devolution process for Nunavut and the creation of this territory. And just kind of the words that he said is that the decisions are going to be made by our people and they're going to be made by the Inuit people, which I think is a very historic thing, and reclaiming who we are as a people. So congratulations, Mr. Premier, on a historic event. There was another young gentleman that I observed on TV probably a couple of years ago now, and it really impressed me. He really impressed me because here was this young, articulate, intelligent young person who was representing his people. And his words are powerful. His words were powerful, but yet his words were gentle and kind as well, and standing up for the rights of the people here in the territory. And I've always been impressed by his style of leadership because it's always been kind and respectful for his people, but more important for the relationships that he's been developing. So, Nathan Obed, I'm really happy to meet you and really glad that the work that you're doing. As I was listening to this beautiful drum ceremony here today, and listening to one of the stories of representation of it, we also have caribou in our area. And what I mentioned in my introduction is that Nmei-do-dem, that's my clan. So I'm a Sturgeon clan person. I don't know if they have sturgeon up here, but from our area, it's an important clan. We also have caribou clan. We call them a Dik-do-dem, right? So when I go back now, I can tell them what it means to be a caribou person. So thank you very much for sharing that information. I was passed some tobacco earlier to help out with this evening's spirit plate. And this is not a common ceremony for many of our people. And it is common for our people in many places as well. And the idea of the spirit plate is to give recognition to those who have gone on before us, our grandmothers and our grandfathers, 7 generations ago, missing children who attended Indian residential school who never had the opportunity to come home. And we have these ceremonies to remember them, right? So we don't lose sight of the work that we do. And in offering this spirit plate, we were gifted with 4 sacred medicines. So that first medicine that was given to the Anishinaabe people and other people is tobacco. So tobacco is very sacred for us. And so Laver passed me this tobacco to help out with the spirit plate here today. And the second gift that we're given was sage. And sage is being used right now, so it's the purification, right? It brings good energy. It reminds us our place and our intentions. The fourth medicine that was given to us is, the third medicine that was given to us is sweetgrass. And again, it's for purification and to give good energy. And the fourth one that was given to us was cedar. And again, this is all the sacred medicines and to help us to heal and overcome grief, despair, and those things that are troubling us. So these are powerful medicines that we have, and we're happy to share them with all of us here today. It's important that we continue to do these ceremonies because we all know there was a period of time when this was outlawed. If we were doing this in the 1950s, we'd be arrested, right? Freedom of spirituality, we have that today. And we got to give thanks to our grandmothers and our grandfathers and those who came before us who fought hard for us. Much like of the work that we're doing today, fighting hard for our people, fighting hard for missing children on unmarked graves, the work that all of us, each and every one of us need to do. So this food offering is to give back to the Spirit that has been following the work of the Office of the Special Interlocutor since her mandate started. And it'll carry us through really difficult times, right? Because in our thought and our intentions, the work that we do is for that 7th generation. So whether we believe it or not, but what we're doing here today is going to benefit our children, our grandchildren, our great-great-children, great-great-grandchildren, and those who are still yet unborn. And so in doing this, we need to be kind with one another. We need to respect one another. And I've heard that word here today, respect, right? So it's with that good intentions that we're offering this spirit plate, this food, for our ancestors and for the 7 generations that are going to be following us. So I want to thank Lever, who's our Shkabuis here, our helper, for the preparation of this spirit plate. And normally we would offer it into a fire. But as we flew over the country to get here, I noticed there's no trees. So puts us in a bit of a predicament, right? But nonetheless, the Spirit always works with us. So we're going to place this food in a special place where it's clean. And the spirits are going to receive it and accept it and to acknowledge and honor us here as well. So that's what we're going to do, and I want to thank you for this opportunity for doing this. I also have a couple of other things that I'd like to share while I'm here. So who was the first premier for Nunavut? What was his name? Paul Iqaluit? Well, I'm from Garden River, a long ways away from here. And for the people of Nunavut, Paul Iqaluit has children in Garden River, right? So we're very proud of them, and we knew them, and he would come to Garden River to visit them. Lastly, when I ran into the premier in Montreal at the airport, he was wearing this really cool, what would you call it? Parka, right? I says, man, I was thinking to myself, this is a really cool parka. And some of our cultures, some of our ways, you admire that, you give it to them, right? So, so with that, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for this opportunity for us to be able to share a little bit what you shared with us, and to be respectful and give reciprocity, to be able to share back with you, to offer the spirit plate. Miigwech.
I would like to welcome Natan Obed, the president of Inuit Tabarit Kanatami, to say a few words.
Nakumek, thank you, Sylvia, for that introduction. Also, just for the kind words from Elder Darrell earlier. I don't think there's anything more uplifting for me as a politician than to hear praise from elders and also from Indigenous peoples across this country. It makes me feel that it's more than just working with our own community or working with Inuit. There's a larger movement at play, and that people are listening. And I think that's instructive for all of you in the room that are working on behalf of your people or your culture or your communities, is that there is this larger interest in not only in reconciliation, but as we saw with Bernice and your panic about reinvigorating cultural traditions, what we saw with Shelton with the display of culture, and also what we see from the First Nations and the Métis elders and participants here as well today. You bring something special to this room, and telling other people that they are special is a big part of that. And so I just want to take that thanks and say how much it means to me. I also would like to, before I start, recognize a few people. Iqaluit, the president of Nunavut Tungavik, is here. She is the leader of the rights holding institution here for Nunavut, and I was fortunate enough to work for Nunavut Tungavik for 10 years and live here in Iqaluit. And Aluki sits as one of the board members for Inuit Tapiriit Kanatami. Also in the room is PJ Akiago, the premier for Nunavut Tungavik, former president of Kikitani Inuit Association, and also a former colleague at both ITK and at NTI. So always wonderful to be at events with you. And then we have many elected leaders from across this country, from our First Nations, and I also just want to say how meaningful it is to me to share space with elected leaders from across this country. Also to our elders and the elders who opened, but also very special acknowledgement to Helen Navalek Tuluganak, the one who's always taking pictures. Just so positive. And then also Edna Elias, I think, is here, and just a pillar of strength from the Iqaluit region. So I know there are many other elders here in the room as well, but just pointing out some people who, again, have given me a lot of strength and a lot of direction over time. Also would like to recognize and thank Kimberly Murray and your team, everyone who played a role in not only this event, but the work that you have done to date in the specific task of being an independent special interlocutor for missing children in unmarked graves and burial sites. It's not an easy task, but we really appreciate the work and the spaces you've convened, and also the chance to tell this particular story, the chance to understand this issue in a much clearer way than has been told to date, and bringing together those who are most affected and those who are experts and those who can give perspective and support the work. Thank you for the work that you do. I've reflected a lot on this particular issue because it is so impactful and hurtful to think of children who would be given such disrespect in life and in death, to have been buried in unmarked graves across this country. It was a moment in time when the Kamloops discovery was made public. And being in Ottawa and being in that national stage, you could feel a different level of empathy and understanding of what has happened in this country in regards to Indigenous peoples and residential schools than ever before. It's up to us, I think, to keep that momentum going and to exchange the empathy and the worry and the concern with clear direction on what we do about it. Ultimately, I have the saying that a lot of people around me, especially my staff, maybe get tired of me saying, is like, what is the path to the work? Where do we find the work? Because we can be busy all year long, but never find the actual work and how to get things done. And in this space, I think it is so important for us to find the solutions. We think, as Canadians, that we live in a rule-based society. We think we have federal legislation and provincial and territorial legislation that would prevent anything like this from ever happening. And if anything like this does happen, we also expect rule-based order and response. We expect for institutions or individuals to be held accountable. If we've found anything out as Inuit through murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls and Inuit women and girls, through our treatment in the tuberculosis era, through us being taken to be a part of human zoos in North America and in Europe, for a residential schools experience, for relocation for sovereignty exercises, for anthropologists and other grave robbers taking our human remains. We know that the rule-based order in this country is for some people, but not for us. It's been proven over 100 years. It is up to us to figure out how to change that and to be clear and steadfast in not accepting anything less. You can be given a very specific task by a specific government to do one particular task. And this is a massive task, but it is just one part of an overarching story in this country of a disrespect for First Nations, Inuit, and Métis in life and in death, and a lack of justice in life and in death. I think we can all be galvanized around that to change the way Canada acts when it understands what has happened in this country, and also to make it very clear that the perpetrators, those who can be held responsible, need a level of responsibility, a level of accountability that has not existed yet. In the UN conversation and the creation of the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples legislation in this country, Inuit Taprik Kanatami has pushed very hard for the idea of recourse and remedy for any of our rights when they are not respected or when they are violated. It only makes sense. The country has applauded itself on being supportive of the UN Declaration. Ministers from Crown Indigenous Relations and the Prime Minister himself have talked about how it is a new day in this country, and no longer will Indigenous peoples have to go to courts to have their rights affirmed and upheld in this country. But the only way that you actually can do that is if you create the structures that make it so. So we have called for an Indigenous Human Rights Tribunal. We've called for an ombudsperson in relation to human rights. And the MIWG calls for justice. Took that perspective and also enriched it in their calls for justice. And the legislation that has passed now 2 years ago on UNDRIP has a section that we fought for that creates an opening for the creation of an Indigenous Human Rights Tribunal, independent from the existing structures of the Human Rights Tribunal. And we do hope that someday we can truly have recourse and remedy for anyone or any institution or any province or territory or federal government that doesn't uphold our rights or that violates our rights. Because the violation of rights is how we get to this room today. This is why we have these poignant, difficult conversations, and why we have to fight so hard to be recognized and to undo the wrongs of the past, even though we know that some of those wrongs can never be undone. Levi Barnabas, your story about your own personal tragedy in your family and your sibling, that can't be undone. But we have to find a way so that we don't systematically create new stories every single day in this country that then we will have to continue to fight against in this century. And I think that's where Inuit have been very practical on other areas that are very similar to this. When I was working at Nunavut Tungavik, many Inuit came and asked us to help them find their lost loved ones based on tuberculosis treatment and the way in which the the government took Inuit, put them in sanatoriums in the south, sometimes for years on end, split up families, split up spouses, split up siblings, split up mothers from children. And if any of those people died in the south, many times their next of kin was not notified, and they were never told where they were buried or how they were buried. At the same time, there are over 1 million documents, records surrounding the care of these patients. In the 1950s, 1 in 7 Inuit in Inuit Nunangat was in care in sanatoriums in the south at one point in their lives. It's an incredible amount of people who are impacted. And then imagine that during this whole period of time, the government didn't feel that it had any obligation to notify families about whether or not their loved ones were alive or dead, or if they did pass away, where they were buried. So we fought for over 10 years through successive federal governments for justice and also for a path towards finding lost loved ones. We call it Nanelavut. And the Prime Minister did come to Iqaluit and apologize for the federal government's role in this period of time. We have received funds to find lost loved ones. We have, across Inuit Nunangat, held ceremonies once we have found the grave sites of Inuit. We've brought families together for proper burials, for proper goodbyes. I was a part of some of these ceremonies in Edmonton 2 summers ago. And you can't imagine how hard it was, but also you could see how people were coming together and finally able to grieve and finally able to make sense of 40 and 50 years of searching and of unanswered questions. I offer this to everyone in the room because this journey in unmarked graves for residential schools may follow a very similar path. There are records. There are ways in which to find information. There's also very difficult conversations that we have had to have about what happens when you find remains. What happens when you uncover a grave with multiple people in it and you don't necessarily know who is who? How do you share that pain and that grief, and how do you get through that with others in other communities? So this is not a distinctions-based issue the way that perhaps many other policy or legislative functions are in this country. First Nations, Inuit, and Métis have to work together to find solutions together to ensure that we can move beyond this period, but also that we can hold those to account who need to be held to account. We also have associated issues, and I know that this conference is focused on a very particular point, but we also at this point in time at ITK are working on holding academic institutions and government institutions to account for holding Inuit human remains in their museums, in their holdings of anthropology, in academic institutions. Inuit human remains are all over the world in public settings. It was just in England, in the University of Cambridge, one of the most prestigious organizations in the world, has Inuit human remains as part of its collection. University of Edinburgh has Inuit human remains. So does the Museum of History in Ottawa. There are many private collectors who hold First Nations or Inuit human remains as part of their collections, even if perhaps they don't, those collections have been passed down. In 2018, there was a box of Inuit human remains that was shipped to Inuit Taprit Kanatami's offices with no return postage that our receptionist opened. this is Canada. This is where we still are today. There is a lack of respect for us, for our cultures, for our histories, and for our dignity. It may have been that the family of some collector didn't know what to do, and perhaps they just felt like the best thing to do was to send Inuit bones back to Inuit. We know that that is a terrible way of dealing with something that is much more complex. So at ITK, what did we do? We notified the Ontario Police. We treated it like any other human remains issue and any other statute in Canadian law. And we'll work with authorities to ensure that those human remains get back to where they belong, but we give people respect that they deserve that they deserved in life and that they deserve in death. We are coming out of an intense period of 200 and 300 years where we were seen as subhuman, where we were thought that we were going to disappear from the face of the earth, and that everything about us had to be collected and in a very Eurocentric way cataloged so that the great scholars of the world and governments and the great thinkers of the world would show that they knew how Inuit lived. Not that we could tell them, they would be able to tell the world for us. Times have changed, but there is still this echo, this unfinished business. And the work that is happening here with the special interlocutor is an essential part of this unfinished business. But there are other parts in this path that must be taken concurrently. And I look forward to working with you, to everyone in this room, for the upholding of our existing Indigenous peoples' human rights, for the respect and dignity of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis in life and in death. And I also look forward to saying the hard truths to this country together. I was given a compliment earlier in saying that I had a quiet way, and I generally do, but there is a point where we have to look people right in the eye and tell them that their conduct is unacceptable and that some things are non-negotiable, and that starts with these type of issues. There is an obligation for this country to do whatever it can, as quickly as it can, to find the lost loved ones, make the connections from those children in unmarked graves with their communities, with their families. There also needs to be recourse and remedy for any violations of our human rights in this country in a way that does not exist today. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to speak to you all. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to work on these issues. And sometimes it feels very far away when I work in Ottawa from Inuit Nunangat and from my family. But this is what it's for, to be able to fight these fights and to be able to work with all of you for a better Canada and also for the respect for First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. Akumik.
Nakurmik, thank you, Natan. I am so inspired and encouraged that we have genuine young leaders. Can I call you a young leader? We have a new generation of leaders who really have their heart in the right place and their mind in the right place. With really good intentions, and I want to thank you for all your leadership.
Woo! Thank you. All right. I am going to introduce Iqaluit, is the president of Nunavut Tungavik Incorporated and chair of affiliated companies, including Makigerta Inuit Training Corporation, Nunavut Tungavik Foundation, and Nunavut Resource Revenue Trust, and Nunavut Elders Supplemental Trust. Tāna tunga sutinera ko aluki kutek, tuki mo ti Nunavut Tungavik Incorporated kunni, amma amisuno iksivauta ki yaugiluni. She's also a member of United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues representing Arctic peoples. Welcome, Aluki Kutik.
Koyan naming, tunga sugisita maunga nunatino, ikarungno. Koyan naming, tikwaktao si Mayong, Kimberly Murray, tamaunga si Mangman. At kangito ni iluvang ni kinakataklo ni, asiw si Mayon ni nutakka ni kinakataklo ni. Koyan naming mareruk tamani, ikarung ni katimanakak titigasi, inuit nunangan ni katimanakak titigasi koyan naming. Amaru piloakto me koyan namero mayaka, inuit ilinerving mo aulak titaw kataksi manikuyun, tavanitun. Amaru kinguvangin tavanitun. Okomaitumin pilireak katak tukaw yumayungatan na titirakvil. Amaru ilinerak titaw katak simanikuyun. Okomaitumin pilireak kataktun. Kisiani taman na aksorong nakaroakluni okomaitu karoakluni atuta kamarikto. Matuersikan ng man, ukaw sirillugo, matuersikan na ron ng man, inusitiavaw kan ng naksangmin, sakititiyon na ko iluta, inukatitini, ilatini, nunakatitini. Isumanakto, marigaksaw, iluringin, akik soktaw na aktilugin, inung nga larigakakto. Takwa nutakan, ang ramon utak titaw raong itun, isumagidlugin, gava magkuno aulak titaw kataksiman ni kuyun, isumagidlugin. Marigagsang may sakititinyang nakpagkanata, inuit atok simayangin ni ilurikarering. Inuit sangusaktaw tiluti, 1940s ni, 1970s ni akuningani inusinge asijivig juarse manikung mata. Tana isumagidlugo agagwin asijivig juarse mayun inuin inusinga at tuan kalarik si maluniluta suminga nunavo iluane. Ilinerve kang nunavo iluane manarurug pigyartitaw si mayo inusakatiluta suritamani. Te me maniri roangitugun, nanisinera suin na roangitugun, iluverni at kangitumi tamani nunavumi. Aglad iksararjoakun, o kadlakatigilutigun, tusak vigisimayavun, ilinerak titaw kataksimaniku yugo inuit, adjiging ito na ilinerving nun, tisamaw yun, inuyun nersimayun. Te kwa tu saktitaw si magatati sa mauningin ni ilagi yaw yun kimaktaw si mayun ilagi yaw yuvinin isumagiyavon aksorong naktuko katakto narunangin mata. Kisiani niriugi yakaktugun tamas suminga pilire yakaktiluta nutakat nutakaran inu si maningin ni ang nang nun ilinertinun, inungnun. Kauyi magatakuno yung niyangnik, atuktaw si madlarik si mangman, inusingan asujik padliatilugo. Kauyi madlutaro, takwa kanataw marigangin, nirwataw kataktulo marikataktangin, ikayok si maruangit si mayo, inuit nutakat teman na atukataktilugin. Iksararjoara piktamaw nga ikarung nungaw nerektilugo, uparungayak si manasukluta, akik suilaw si mayugun, nunavutung nga vikun ikanayak tingin iglurigarjung mun, niurujartorlutin iglurigaarjungmin ilinniarvik taqarawsimangman Inuit aullartitauqattarawsimangmata tauvunga ammaru inungni ilinniarvingno aullartitauqattarsimanikuni illaqarluta iksirarjuaraapiu upangniartanginnu qatigilaortavun Masqua Chismun ammaru Lac St. Annemun ammaru tamaunga iqarungno mamianniartillugu iksirarjuaraaping Inuit naaraqattaqatigun ammaru titiqarsimayukkun qauyimallutigun iksirarjuan ammaru iliseeyiin ilinniariarsimayuni inungne qunuyungniaqattaraortun Arneid ilinniariarsimayun niviarsia nutaqan iqqanaayartiillu najjiliqaangaming iyertauqattarsimanikuyun illurusermun irnisiariaulluting ilangin anaanagiyauyun uqaqsimayun kangiigusuklutin irniarisimayanga aullartitausimangmangaat tauvungannunamun ajjigingitatsinnun France mulluni Belgium mulluni ilagiyauyut tamaani qauyimayumayugaroa ilamining ilagiyauyun titiqqani saqqivviuyariaqartuugaroa iksirarjuakkunningaarsimayuni ammaru gavamatoqakkunningaarsimayuni qauyimayugu nutaqaraakkurit asingin iluvirtausimayuit tusaqsimaqattartavut iluvirtausima nasugiyaulluting ilinniarviuqattartu silataani innuuserilaortangin isumagiyariaqartavun piuyumi saqqivvigilugin uparungayarsimannasukluta iksirarjuaraapik tamaungarniartillugu iqalungnu gavamatoqakkunnu tuksiraraorsimayugun qauissarnerjuarmi saqqitittiquyilluta isumagillutigu qauissarnerjuarmi saqqitittinnerpata Inuit qannuqunuyurniartauqattarsimanikuungmangaat angayuqqaariyauyunni ilinniartigiyauyunni saqqikkannerayarningani ammaru qannuqtamanna qunuyurniarniuqattartu Inuit inuusingi asitserpalliatitautillugu atuutiqarsimangmangaat tamanna qauissarnerjuangunnayartu saqqitittikkannerayartu niruartaussimayukanatau iluani ammaru marigani marittianginninginni saqqiyaartittikkannerayartu Inuit kisuugiyaungilluting tamanna saimaqatigiinnermun tikiutinasukkutta suriyumikkisiani pigiarviqariaqaqatta suriyumin tungaviqarluta tamanna qauissarjuarniunayartu illuriqariaqartu ukuninga tisamani sivullerpaa suriyumin saqqitittiluni taakua qunuyurniartiuqattarsimanikuyun saqqitaurutik taannaru saqqitaukkannerluni qannuqunuyurniarni atortausimangmangaa Inuit inuusingi asitsertautillugu tuglia tamanna qauissartauruni qassiungmangaa teemanna atorsimayun ambaru nauku ikayortauyunnarayaraugaruarmangaata parisikkunnu gavamatoqakkun aviktortausimayanginnu aviktortausimayung iqqartuivilirinnermun ammaru minister tamassuminga tigumiartu kiggartuilluni isumariuqattarsimanikuungmangaa pingayungan qauissarneqarluni qanortamanna Inuit inuusingani attuaniqarsimangmangaa qanoq aannersisimangmangaa Kano nipekarunertisimang mga. Kano sukutiksangisimang mga. Amaro kano tamanna ulumiurikto. Kinguvare yaw yutigun. Kano atuktaw simang mangata. Tamakwa tiliuridjuti sakitaw na yaktun. Aturiku yun. Naruner sinayaktun. Kano mamisakan nireakang mangata. Inuit nunangan ni. Takwaru kingulik pa. Aturiku yun. Sakitaw yarearin. Sapujikan nirayakto. Nunakakasi mayurimani. Kanatamin. Takunangan. Kuno yung neaktio kataksimaniku yuning. Tamane kau yimayugun. Nunat siya gava mga 1994 ngotilugo. Kau isang nang mi unikarya mi sakititilaw simang mata. Kimiguraw simang mata iglurigarjung min. Ilinervyug miurok. Ilinervyurok tumin. Amma ilinervyng mo tuyong mi vigiyaw kataraw tumin. Kanong piusikaraw mangan. Unikarya narunay laukto 78 nguyugo. Kuno yung neaktaw si mayun. Kau yimayaw yu parisik kuno. Kisiani parisik kun. Kayu silaw ngito. Kau isang nangmin. Te kanilo. 4 paruyun. Narunay si mayun. Ningang nikulu. Kuyuno yung niyang nikulo at tuktaw si maningin ni taman naro suriyo kuyilo ni. Kau yimayugun agago 110 anigok si maruktun tamani Inuit atok si mayangan ni iksirarjua tuksiar vingin sakitaw si maninga nunavo iluan ni. Agago 110 ngugaramata. Kau yimayugo ataw si tuatia. Iksirak joa pasiyak sangok titaw si mayok. Pasiyak sangok titaw si mayok. Inuit o kakatay naksimang mata kisiani. Kau yimayugo teikwa kuno yung niakatak si manikuyun nunavo iluani. Kau yaw yakangami. Asingin nunaring no, au laktitaw katak si manikuyun. Aglad asingin nununano, kanataw sila tanon, au laktitaw katak si manikuyun. Iksirak joakun, piungit tumi, tau tuktaw yung mangitluting. Kisiani, taman na atuktaw tilugo, nokak titisi mangito, kuno yung naktaw kan nakatak si manikuyun, Inuit. Nutakan. Udlumiurikto, takwa Inuit atok si mayangin, takukattaktavon. Anyang nang min, ino kativot tigumertun. Anyang nang min, okumay tumin, isumakun, tigumertun. Si komitaw yok titun ilanikun nunatin ni pekatak tugun teikwa kuno yung nakatak si manikuyun si kutiri si manikung matan nutaraw tunin si vuririlak tatini ni pekangin na sa pujituin naktong kuno yung naktiyo katak tunin suriyo anitarea kakto. Akigiak sinin aturirea kakto. Mamisang na aturirea kakto. Piyarero tilugo, piyarero tigilugo, ukakumabunga, kuyan naming, tabanikasi, ilon nasi. Kauyi mayunga adjigingit tumit, atuni, pisimak rata ako tikakluta mamisang nang mon. Ukumay tuni nara katang naktusi. Ukumay tuni ukaw sa katang naktusi. Nang mene kamagitya katang nakpusi.
Piliriasi aksumariarung, pimmariung man. Makipalirutaw niyang man. Mamisarun naruta, ikarun narutigo, taman na ukumaito katakto. Koyan naming.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. We are in for a special treat. I would like to invite very special young people who work very hard here in Iqaluit, the Inuksuk drum dancers. They are actually, it's 16 years now that Mary Piercy, their music teacher at Inuksuk High School, have been working with these young women. In fact, now there's a new generation. There's even a mother who was in the first wave of Inuksuk drum dancers, and now we see her daughter performing today. They work really hard on learning traditional songs and also some modern songs. And they throat sing, they drum dance, and they do this all with love. And they, in fact, travel to some pretty cool places across the country sometimes. So we're very proud of them. They are truly our ambassadors, our cultural ambassadors here in Iqaluit and in Nunavut. So please welcome the Inuksuk drum dancers.
Kuyennami, Sylvia, we are so happy to be here to sing for you all tonight. Yes, we're the Inuksuk drum dancers, and we have young women from grades 9 to 12, but we also have alumni with us tonight. We have Olivia Chislett, who teaches throat singing. Olivia has been in the choir, it was 5 years, and now she teaches at the high school. And with us tonight, we also have Leanna Wilson, who you heard earlier, also an alumni of the choir, and she is now going to be teaching us some traditional Inuit bisik starting next week, which we're very excited to invite her into the classroom. We're going to begin tonight with a song called Ingikduk, which means she sings or he sings, but in our case, she sings. It is original. It was written by the Inuksuk drum dancers, but back in 2016, so a few years ago. And I hope you enjoy it. We have Taiga Lass here, who is going to be drum dancing for us. Ingikduk, she sings. Koyanami. Next, we're going to sing Biro sa Tautsunga, and this song is written by the Twin Flames. Biro sa Tautsunga, about my upbringing. And playing on violin tonight is Ora Kwan. So here we go. Biro sa Tautsunga. Next, we have a song that was written for us by Louis Aria, who lives here in town. I think she's the executive director of Iqaluit. She wrote this song for us a number of years ago. And as she was writing about it, or writing the song, she was trying to send the message to young people, young women in particular, to know who you are, to know where you're from, to be proud of who you are. So this one is called Kauyimavunga Kinaumangama. This will be our second time singing it in performance. We are going to be taking the song, and many others, of course, to an international choral festival at the end of June. So you lucky people get to hear it before we go.
I
Toyenami. And thank you to Louis Ariak for writing it for us. Next, we're going to do hanga. So we'll do some drum dancing duel between Taiga and Ora with some throat singing. So this is hanga. Ending off with Miti Matalik, Susan Gluka. as you can see, our way of drumming is very different than what Shelton and Leanna did earlier, which was traditional. A lot of the times, the girls improvise, they're innovative, and they create new ways of doing things, and sometimes choreographed dances. It's not traditional, as you can see. However, David Surqua is coming to the school in 2 weeks to spend a full week with us so that he will then come and teach us a little bit more about traditional Inuit drum dancing. So we're very happy that he's coming soon. And of course, Leanna is going to help him out with that with some pisip. So thank you, Leanna. Okay, next we have Iqaluit. And I want to tell you a little bit about this one. This one is also original. We wrote this one back in 2016, and Leanna and Olivia were both part of that group that wrote this song. It's based on a poem that Rita Jo had written. Rita Jo is a Mi'kmaq scholar who went to residential school, and as a result, lost her language, lost her culture. And so she has, as you know, written books of poems, but this particular poem, I Lost My Talk, is just about that, losing your culture, losing language. And then we were invited by the National Arts Centre to respond to that poem musically. And so this is what we came up with. We translated the poem. We interviewed elders who had gone to residential schools and added some drum dancing and throat singing. So, Iqaluit, I Lost My Talk. Kuyanami. And now we're going to sing a happy song, if that's okay. This one is called Iqaluit. I am singing, and we're going to feature Taiga. Taiga, who was just, pardon me, we had Jaya drumming earlier, and Mia, and we had Taiga, Miria, Kwasa, and we had Orakwan and Taiga Loss playing violin on the last one. And now Taiga's going to sing for us. Iqaluit.
Sevokuvia gilavud man ay 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 Ingertu kuvia gilavud man ay 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 ay
Kuyanami, you've been an excellent audience, quiet while you're eating your dessert. We're going to end with one of our favorites. This is Imqali. It is a traditional pisik, but the dance was choreographed by Siobhan Arnatsiak Murphy. This was years ago, and the girls have just passed it on to different groups every single year. So this is Imqali, and it is our last one for today.
Once upon a time, there was an Inukshuk not too far from here. It was over a hill, and it would disappear and reappear again. You can hear something, and the Inukshuk suddenly starts talking to you. You pop up and look around, and the Inukshuk suddenly disappears again. The Inukshuk in shape of a person is used for navigation. It signifies safety, hope, and friendship, and is a true symbol of courage and pride. We leave the Inukshuk where it is on the land.
Bravo! Pisitik! Ayungi! My heart is so plump right now. That was really beautiful. Way to go, girls. Way to make us proud. Nakurmik Inukshuk drum dancers. This actually concludes our evening. We want to thank everybody for being here this evening. This is just the beginning. Ile.
Una piyo kungin ma. Or tusaksaw. Okay, tusaksaw ulit to. Wow. Inukshuk ilinerve me iliner to take ko. Kamit tiavalungi. They're beautiful comics I was noticing.
Our young people are doing incredible things. Incredible things. Not even just performing our old songs, but there's young people who are taking up dog teaming, chimutsik, which is an old tradition that was a little bit dormant for a while, and they've started it again. Khulliq lighting, preserving our language, sewing. Young people, there are so many amazing Inuit seamstresses that are making incredible parkas, and you're one of them.
Thank you.
There are young people doing amazing things, so we have to acknowledge them and do everything we can to raise them up.
Icha. Te makisia neli pallealuta with trial and error. You get better at every project you try to accomplish, and you only get better each time you try. Yeah. And look where it got me. Being able to pass on this traditional knowledge as a seamstress, I did that to be able to provide for my family and learning from our elders. I was fortunate to be able to learn most of my knowledge from my grandmother. And my grandmother was a sewing teacher growing up, so I was very fortunate to be able to be a part of that, and it stuck with me very closely up to today, and now I can teach my daughter.
And, this is also reminding us, sometimes young people can also remind us older, not that I'm old, but us older folks, that we can be brave, right? We can do things that are a little bit uncomfortable. We can do things that are out of our comfort zone. We can do things that are even scary sometimes, right? Like facing a couple hundred people and singing. That takes courage and that takes bravery. So way to go, girls. To all the young Indigenous people who are out there, we're very proud of you. This is a reminder to, if you want to come for breakfast tomorrow, it starts at 7:45 here in the ballroom, not in the lounge, but here in the ballroom. Our meetings start at 9 o'clock. So enjoy the rest of the evening. Take good care of your health. Take care of yourselves. Have a good sleep. Show some self-love. Sometimes these meetings can be difficult. We just need to be patient with ourselves and with each other. And wishing you a good evening.
Yes, and also, in addition, for tomorrow evening, we have a special guest also. Don Burnstick will be here at 7 p.m. to perform here in the ballroom.
So make sure you sleep well so you can laugh real hard tomorrow night.
I think I might need to put an anti-bun up tomorrow.
Nakurmik, thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Yes, thank you. Have a good evening. Kuyanamik, tunga sukaugati, kaupatao.